20th Common Council meeting to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilwoman Ficus. Excuse me, I have to move our LEAP Olympics first place trophy so everybody can see us here, so I apologize.
And how many college athletes did you recruit for this year?
Hey, you're a part of it. Well, no, you weren't. You were always on Dunelands. I didn't see you that far down, so I didn't know if you were there. Roll call by Clerk Treasurer Parthun.
Councilman Frankie.
Present.
Councilwoman Huffman.
Present.
Councilwoman Ficus.
Present.
Councilman Galloway.
Here.
Councilman Konechny.
Present.
Councilman Buchanan.
Present.
Councilman West is absent. So we have 6 present, 1 absent.
Approval of minutes. May I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Petitions and comments of citizens. Anything online? With the weather, we are having some connectivity issues. We'll move to standing committee reports. Council President Frankie.
Short and sweet, the Redevelopment Commission will meet next Wednesday, the 29th, 5:15 here in council chambers.
Councilwoman Huffman.
The Sustainability Commission will meet at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, May 28th in council chambers.
Councilwoman Ficus.
Park Board met on May 15th. Craig Phillips attended the meeting and permission was given to apply for variances for a possible Scott Park residential development in collaboration with Advantix Development Corporation out of Evansville, Indiana. The plan is to construct affordable housing where the homes have a footprint similar to those on Jefferson Ave and Holcomb Street. Specific details on the project have not been finalized. There was also discussion regarding the parking situation around the Pine Lake Marina on Waverly Road. Mark Schreiber did attend the last Traffic Commission to seek their approval for a possible solution or start to a solution. Twisted Tiki was awarded the contract for the Stone Lake Beach concession stand. 10% of the gross revenues will come back to the Park Department. The Civic Auditorium will extend its contract with Hometown Jams for another year. The contract will remain the same as previously agreed upon terms. Hometown Jams has brought us entertainment such as Sarah Evans and Josh Turner. And then the next meeting of Traffic Commission will be Tuesday, June 4th, 5 p.m. at the police station.
Councilman Galloway.
Monday the 5th, the Mayor's Veterans Committee met, and there are 30 bricks, and the dedication, well, I understand they're already in, so the dedication will be the second Saturday in June, the 8th, and it'll be the 25th annual. And the veteran ceremony for November, it's a ways ahead, but it'll be Monday, November 11th, 10:30 a.m. at the Civic. And August 12th will be our next meeting. And the Police Merit Commission meeting met. It's at 8 to 10 months before we're considered at 42, because we got a lot of young guys going to school and training. And they're trying a 4-day work week. They're starting with the night shift. And they just hope they have enough people to do it, but they're trying it, so,
You okay? You feeling okay?
yeah.
That's good. I appreciate you coming today. Don't sound,
No, I'm here.
that's good. Councilman Buchanan.
The Historic Preservation Commission will meet tomorrow, May 21st at 5:30 here in council chambers. The HPC is planning to attend another roundtable event June 5th in Valparaiso to discuss common questions and effective processes within historic districts. The Plan Commission met here May 14th. 3 agenda items were discussed and passed to allow for residential construction in various forms, including the new Hunterwood subdivision and a new phase to Whispering Meadows subdivision. The school corporation, congratulations to LaPorte High School boys track team. 9 members of the girls track team and to the girls tennis team for winning their sectionals and advancing to regionals.
Councilwoman Konechny.
On behalf of Councilwoman West, I'd like to report for the bid board. Downtown maintenance will be working on trash receptacles, weeding and planting are beginning on the planters. Paver issues are being evaluated and addressed. Electrical work was approved for the area around the farmers market. And Tucker King spoke to the board about tree maintenance. The next meeting will be held on June 10th at 5 p.m. in council chambers. UEA report. The UEA board met Wednesday, May 15th. Activities approved are, number 1, approved a draft developers agreement with Bar Holdings, owner of 814 to 816 Lincoln Way. The proposed developers agreement is a special grant in the amount of $150,000 for rehab work to begin this year. Number 2, approved funding downtown arts projects not to exceed $50,000. The projects are located in the downtown area and include a sculpture, a mural, and window designs on vacant buildings. The city is collaborating with the Lebesnick Art Center. The agreement needs approval by the Board of Works and Safety before proceeding. And then number 3, approved 2 community enhancement grants in the amount of $500 for each of the Kiwanis 4th of July Parade and Lake Fest. The June meeting date is changed to Tuesday, June 18th at 4 p.m. due to the Juneteenth holiday set for Wednesday, June 19th. City Hall is closed on the Juneteenth holiday. On behalf of myself, the Airport Authority, the Lunch on the Fly is in full swing. The next lunch will be hosted this Friday, May 27th at the airport from 11 to 1 p.m. The cost is $5 per person, and again, it's held at the airport. The Airport Authority's next meeting will be held Wednesday, June 12th at 5:15 at the airport. End of report.
Thank you for that detail. Well, it's, we have great partners in the city that it takes everybody helping one another. And, we're fortunate tonight to have the Rotary Club here. And they have a special presentation. And do we have a council member that's a Rotarian? I think Mr. Frankie is. So, not anymore. But we have a couple gentlemen, if I could. Change that. Yes. We'll change that before he leaves tonight. Don't let him out the front door. But we do have a couple gentlemen from Rotary. If you don't mind coming forward, state your name for the record, and you have a donation to present.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought Mr. Ficus
Mike's
would
on his
come
own
along.
tonight.
Oh, I thought he was here for Rotary, too.
Yeah, no, he's later on the schedule. But anyway, my name is Rick Bockhorst, and I'm the president-elect of Rotary, taking over July 1st. And I came here tonight to present you with $7,500 to the Park Department for the Blossom Trail, and that'll be a great addition to the Clear Creek, or the Clear Lake area, and looking forward to that. I mean, that's what we do, right? And then 1st July, we've already committed to Tom that we're going to sponsor the fireworks, pick up half of that bill, and hopefully we can get some sponsors on that to backfill. But we're going ahead with that. And it's going to be an exciting year this year, if I can put in a little plug.
Please, Rick, please.
It's service above self is our heartbeat and what we do. And this year we are partnering with 20 organizations around the community and county to help them fulfill their service to the LaPorte County, making it a better place to live. And so we're excited about that venture, and we need more members. That's what makes it happen. And it's going to be fun. We have fun doing it. So this Thursday at the Drift, we're having a social. Everybody's welcome. And we'll leave it at that. I appreciate it, Tom.
I'll tell you what, Rick's commitment and Rotary's commitment to all good in our community, we're very fortunate. And Rick, I know Fonda Owens, I believe, dropped off a
Right.
check earlier. Lauren
Yeah.
has it. If you would not mind coming forward with other Rotary members, I think that's Mitch Ficus, as well Bert Cook, anybody else, and Courtney, but also our council members, because this is amazing.
Okay.
And we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Get on up.
She's a Rotarian, yes.
I'll take the check.
Courtney's gonna accept as a Rotarian.
Like up there.
Treasure, come on.
See up there.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You really shameless.
Yeah. Feels good.
I'm right here.
We can't see you, yeah.
Okay, we got you.
Okay, ready?
One more, one more, please. Can we do one more? That's it.
Thank you. We got ourselves a village.
Yeah.
And I would also like to say Rotary's always looking for projects. So if you know nonprofits, if you know other people, or if we have one in the city, I can promise you Rick is excited to help get the team participate in something, so thank you. Council appointment of pro tem member of Police Merit Commission, Mr.
We have
Otis.
one of the current, the council appointment to the Merit Commission has a conflict on a current matter, and we need a pro tem member to reside over a decision.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Your Honor, I move to nominate Jeff Welliver as a pro tem member of the Police Commission.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion.
What are the obligations for a pro tem member?
It would be I'm sorry, say that again. What are-
The obligations or the term
Oh,
of that,
they're
is it just
they're
for
just
the?
serving this one matter to hear an officer disciplinary matter. Thank you.
Understood, thank you.
Further discussion? I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Development agreement, Mitch Ficus Builders Incorporated, Council President Frankie, and I think Councilwoman Ficus should abstain.
Yep.
That's what I was gonna say.
Council President Frankie.
Would you like me to read first or hear from Mitch? He seems
Read
eager.
first.
I think we have to read first,
Read
correct?
first. I'll make a motion to read a development agreement for the first and only time.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Before Council President Frankie goes, Mr. Otis.
Council President Frankie, I think if you just go through page 3 through section 8, and then after that, that touches on the incentives, and Mr. Cook can address that as well.
So we'll cut it down from 2 hours to 1 hour.
Correct, yeah. It still should go relatively quick here.
I'll read quickly. The development agreement is made and entered into as of the to-be-determined date of 2024 by and between the Common Council of the City of LaPorte and Mitch Ficus Builders Incorporated. Whereas the Common Council desires to foster economic development within the City of LaPorte, and whereas developer owns real property which is located in the Whispering Meadows development adjacent to Whispering Meadows Boulevard in the City of LaPorte, and which needs redevelopment. And whereas developer has presented a plan for redevelopment of the property which is consistent with the goals of the city, and whereas to stimulate and induce the redevelopment of the property, the parties have agreed, subject to further proceedings and approvals as may be required by law, to provide the economic development incentives described herein. Now therefore, in consideration of the foregoing and of the mutual covenants and agreements herein contained, and other good and valuable consideration, the receipt and sufficiency of which are hereby acknowledged, the parties do hereby agree as follows. Number 1, recitals. The representations, covenants, and recitations set forth in the foregoing recitals are material to this agreement and are hereby incorporated into and made a part of this agreement. Number 2, property description. The property which is the subject of this agreement is located adjacent to Whispering Meadows Boulevard in the city of LaPorte and ID'd as parcel ID 46-11-6-278-12.00-058 in the city of LaPorte. Number 3, project description. Developers shall redevelop the property in accordance with the proposed site plan attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit A, as may be revised from time to time by mutual agreement of the parties. The redevelopment of the property is hereinafter referred to as the project. Developer shall complete the redevelopment at its own cost and subject to oversight and approval by the City of LaPorte as may be required by law pursuant to the project schedule attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit B. Number 4, capital investment by developer. Excluding the financial incentives provided for herein, developer expects to make a capital investment in the project of approximately $7,600,000. Number 5, development standards and design guidelines. In redeveloping the property according to the proposed site plan, developers shall follow all development standards, zoning regulations, and design guidelines as may be required by the City of LaPorte. Number 6, easements. Excuse me, allergies. Developers shall grant all easements which may reasonably be necessary to effectuate the intents and provisions of this agreement. Number 7, construction subsequent to the execution of this development agreement and until construction of the improvements has been completed, developers shall keep the city reasonably appraised of the progress of the project. This phase, Phase 8, shall be completed in its entirety by December 31st, 2028. Number 8, financial incentive from the city. Subject to the completion of all procedures and approvals required by law, the city shall provide financial incentives to developer in the following amounts. Number 1, the City of LaPorte will pay all tap fees associated with the 38 new homes being constructed as a part of Phase 8 of the Whispering Meadows subdivision. Number 2, the City of LaPorte will pay all system development charges associated with the 38 new homes. The system development charge shall be paid at the time the tap fees are paid. Number 3, the funding for the tap fees and the SDCs will be paid out in a lump sum in 2024 to the developer. Number 4, the City of LaPorte will pay all building permit fees associated with the 38 new homes. Number 5, the City of LaPorte will pay $59,000 to purchase infrastructure, supplies, materials for this expansion. Number 6, the above-mentioned incentives from the City of LaPorte will not exceed in total of $200,000. Number 7, this letter of intent replaces any former discussions, and any new building permit fees in previous phases are subject to the same terms regarding building permits only. Phase 9 and future phases are not subject to these terms.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Tim.
Questions? I'd like to have Bert Cook come forward, along with Mr. Ficus I see here. If Bert, you know, it's fortunate that we have a hometown builder that really, when you look at the housing growth or housing that's happened in LaPorte, we owe a tremendous amount to Mitch, and thank you for all your work. And Bert Cook, let's talk about Phase 8.
Yeah, just briefly, and I'll touch on a few things on the incentive, then Mitch can tell you a little more about the project. You've seen agreements like this previously from us. I think most recently, 701 Maple, which is just adjacent to us here, was a project that we incentivized in a similar way. I feel like I've spoken to numerous times from this podium, and we always talk about how important residential development is to our community, how it's been a barrier that has held us back, and it's an issue that we're obviously addressing and excited about in the future. Mitch has done some terrific developments in our community. This is another phase of very successful development that I think furthers us down that path and continues to invest in different types of residential products that are desperately needed in our community. Maybe I'll stop there. Mitch, you want to touch on the project a little bit?
Yes, this is Phase 8, and currently we have, the sewer line is in, the sewer taps are done, the water line is in, we're waiting on the water taps. Storm sewer is 100% complete. So what we'll be doing is some testing that we do in conjunction with the city, especially on water and sewer. And so we're moving along. We also have one house that is started, and we have another one that is sold in this phase. So we tend to move quickly on this. So, you know, I'm one of the few builders that starts building before the development is done. So we will have it done hopefully in the next 3 to 4 months. I'll say this, that my company, we have about 30 to 40% of our employees live in the city of LaPorte. Most of them are from LaPorte County. We have subcontractors that are from the city of LaPorte. A lot of our majors are from the city. And then we have our other subcontractors and suppliers that are from LaPorte County. So we're a local builder, and we use local people, and we use local craftsmen, and so we try to contribute to the economy in all ways. Currently, we have about 120 homes completed, and with today's economic environment, unfortunately, housing prices have risen dramatically over the last 2.5 years. Plus, interest rates are very high right now. So it has been a very, very difficult environment to sell houses in. But, you know, we're gonna keep pushing, and I think the economy is gonna get better, and, you know, we're gonna have lot inventory that people can buy houses for, which is, you don't see that in a lot of communities. That's one of the biggest problems in construction today is lot availability. And we do that, and we have that, and we just keep pushing forward in building quality products.
We love that, and thank you. Questions for Mr. Ficus? I would also just like to add Mr. Phillips, who has been housing. His efforts as well. I don't know if you want to add anything, but you're going to continue to see housing here in the city of LaPorte because it's a need. A lot of people are talking about it. We're doing it.
I don't need to add anything else.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I have one question. What fund will this be paid out of? Is it coming out of redevelopment commission, or is it city?
This will come out of the ARP funds. We have over $1.5 million in that fund, so this will come out of that fund.
Okay.
Further questions? Motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Ficus.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Lord Konechny.
Your Honor, I'd like to introduce an amendment to a development agreement.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Councilwoman Konechny.
First Amendment to Development Agreement. This First Amendment to the Development Agreement, the amendment, is made and entered in as of the 4th day of April 2024 by and between the City of LaPorte and Park Street Community LLC developer. City and developer are collectively referred to herein as the parties. Whereas, City and developer entered into a development agreement dated December 5th, 2023. And whereas, City and developer desire to amend the development agreement to include changes to the development plan. And whereas, City and developer wish to memorialize the development plan changes in this amendment. Now therefore, in consideration of the foregoing and of the mutual covenants and agreements herein contained, and other good and valuable consideration, the receipt and sufficiency of which are hereby acknowledged, the parties do hereby agree as follows. Number one, the third whereas clause of the development agreement shall be amended to read as follows. Whereas, developer intends to construct single-family homes, townhomes, and apartments on the property as further described in this agreement, and number two, Section 3.0 of the development agreement shall be amended, obligating developer to construct up to 96 townhomes, 10 single-family homes, and 56 apartments. City and developer agree that the final number of units in each category are subject to further modification during the plat approval process. Number three, Exhibit B of the development agreement shall be deleted and replaced with Exhibit B1, which is attached here too, incorporated herein and marked as Exhibit B1. Number four, all other terms of the development agreement shall remain in full force and effect except as those specifically modified herein. End of a development agreement amendment.
Thank you, Councilwoman Konechny.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Mr. Cook.
Thank you, Mayor. As Councilwoman Konechny referenced, so our original development agreement on this project was signed in December of 2023. Since then, there have been numerous steps that have occurred in this project. The most notable and most related to the amendment that you're looking at today is started out as potentially a single-family development and has transitioned into a number of other products, single-family homes, but townhomes and apartments as well. Appreciate John Kovchek and his entire team who have worked very closely with Craig Phillips and our planning department to come up with the best development plan possible for this site and for our needs within our community. And with that came these changes that are referenced here. So the project has now probably skipped steps, but they've now been through the Plan Commission, the subdivision's been created, there was a zoning change. There's just a whole lot of things have occurred throughout this process. And as all of that has finished and we're transitioning into the construction phase, it makes sense to amend our original agreement to better reflect the project as it sits here today. So that's the amendment that you're looking at in front of you. Would strongly encourage you to pass that. And we're excited for them to get started, which, you know, will be later this summer, so.
Questions for Mr. Cook? One thing I'd like to add is Mr. Phillips and a team from the city of LaPorte actually went up to view firsthand the projects they've done in Michigan. If you don't mind coming up and sharing your thoughts.
Yeah, so myself as well as 3 other members of city staff representing different departments involved in the development process had an opportunity to go to Grand Rapids and the suburbs of Grand Rapids to personally view and visit some of the units that the builder partner that is part of Park Street Community LLC has developed, thousands of units around all over western Michigan, Grand Rapids primarily area, but all over western Michigan. We got to see the quality and the character of the homes that are being built, a variety of things from single-family homes to townhomes to apartments. And we took lots of pictures and got a chance to ask questions about, the different products. And I think it was time well spent. We got a good feel for what they're looking to develop here, and they have interest in developing more in the future. So we got a chance to see what they might develop in the future as well. So that was good.
Questions for Mr. Phillips?
Can you explain a little bit about what you saw, what kind of product that they have?
So like I said, single-family homes, townhomes, paired, for lack of a better term, patio homes, and apartments. So we got a chance to, we spent the whole day basically viewing different products that they do. And, they're all, I guess they range from rental and ownership, across the board, but they build a variety. They're kind of an all-purpose builder. They build all sorts of different types of communities. We got to see in one community alone where they're the master builder base and developer for the community. We got to see several different product types in one community. We toured another community that was similar to that, which was primarily single-family homes, and then one of the apartment complexes, both a renovation that they did and some new products as well.
And were you able to see a development that was similar to this with all 3 different kind of subtypes of
Yes.
dwellings?
Yep.
Everything kind of seemed to be cohesive, or was there a
Yeah, from
stark
what they
difference?
presented to us before, they provided us with examples of the work that they planned on doing here, and we got to see it firsthand, what they plan on actually building here.
And that's consistent with the pitch in which they
Yes.
brought to us?
Yes.
And then the type of materials that they use, kitchens and baths, things like that?
High-quality materials, yeah. I
Solid
mean,
surfaces, things like that, or?
Courts
Sure.
and kitchens, and, the different product types, different, apartments were different than the single-family homes, but, and the townhomes, but the character of the townhomes and the patio homes was probably the highest end, and then, the townhomes, still a high quality, and the apartments, depending on what they were, just had, different finishes, I think, than some of the single-family homes and things like that, but, but what we saw was high quality, and, we were impressed.
Thank you.
Further questions? Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the First Amendment to the development agreement?
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Councilwoman Huffman, recommendation for Plan Commission to review an ordinance.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to request the LaPorte Planning Commission review an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the city of LaPorte, Indiana in regards to tobacco, vape, and smoke shop retailers.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Councilwoman Huffman.
Want me to read the whole thing?
No, you do not need to read the whole
Okay.
thing. I can summarize it, and then Lauren, Ms. Huffman can add to this. So this is a recommendation from the council. Ms. Huffman has asked me to draft this to review zoning in particular to tobacco stores, vape and smoke shops, and smoke shops in particular. Currently, we don't have any specific zoning for them in our community. There are many of them and on the major roads here in town. Additionally, I think the police department shut one down, if I recall correctly, because they were selling to middle schoolers at Kessling. So, Ms. Huffman, I don't know if you want to add anything. Just procedurally, this will go before the Plan Commission and then come back as a formal or kind of similarly drafted as
Sure.
this.
Yeah, I can just add that this is for new businesses. This does not affect businesses that are already standing in our community. You know, I did look up some statistics from the CDC, and 2.1 million students currently use e-cigarettes. So I'm really looking out for the children and the young folks in our town by trying to keep these off of the fairways and out of the way of the families that are downtown.
Mr. Galloway, Councilman Galloway, I apologize.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I know it'll be rewritten and everything, but they have down, like, if a vape shop's sitting here and they close it down, or if they sell it to somebody else, does it have to, similar like the housing, it goes back to single families? You understand what I'm saying?
Well, let's have Mr. Phillips come up here real quick. He can address, I think what you're talking about is grandfathering, and he can address how that.
Yeah, and on new owners and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so the way that grandfathering is what you're referring to basically works there. If a use is inactive for a certain period of time, and I believe in our case it's 180 days, I'd have to verify that, or 1 year, basically the use becomes no longer grandfathered. So basically at that point, they would not be able to reestablish the use without seeking a special approval. But there is a specific set period of time. I don't have the ordinance right in front of me right this minute, I apologize, but there is a specific amount of time that if a use is inactive. So if it sells or it's inactive for less than that period of time, it does not become a nonconformity. There's just, it has to be vacant or not be used for that purpose for a specific set of time that's in the ordinance.
So current ones that follow the rules are grandfathered.
Basically, yes. And I'll also just add that I think this action that is being proposed is appropriate in terms of making this a special exception use that requires additional requirements be met and considered in order to be ultimately considered for approval, rather than zoning them out completely, which I think would invite legal challenge. So I think it's the proper way to handle this.
Yeah, to be clear, it's not a ban, and that's
Correct,
not the
correct.
request. It would be
Been
a
involved
special.
in many zoning amendments in my career, and anytime you completely ban something, you're inviting legal challenge. So I think this is the appropriate way to handle this.
And from my perspective, and I really appreciate Councilwoman Huffman leading the charge on this, is I don't want them on Lincoln Way or Pine Lake. This is my personal feeling. I think we have enough. There's enough availability, but I really appreciate Councilwoman Huffman going at it from this perspective. But when you see what's happening at the high school and you see everywhere else, and I know it's not all here in the city of LaPorte, people are shipping product in, they're bringing product in, but we have to address this for the future.
So this will go before the next Plan Commission for review.
In June.
Yep.
Further questions? So this can pass.
Correct, it's just a recommendation, yep.
So do I have a motion to approve the recommendation to the Plan Commission?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. When you talk about good things you do for the community, this is one of them. Councilwoman Ficus.
Your Honor, I move to introduce an ordinance read for the first time in its entirety.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 29-2023 to amend salaries in the engineering department and the Department of Transportation. Be it, and it is hereby ordained by the Common Council of the City of LaPorte, Indiana, that Section 1, Ordinance Number 29-2023 of the City of LaPorte, Indiana, adopted by the Common Council on October 16, 2023, is hereby amended to update the following annual salary. Engineering Department, City Engineer, Assistant Director, $75,000. Department of Transportation, part-time drivers, $15.83 per hour to $20 an hour. Mechanic, part-time, $16.50 an hour, up to $20 an hour. Dispatcher, part-time, $15.83 an hour, up to $20 an hour. Section 2, Ordinance Number 29-2023 of the City of LaPorte, Indiana, adopted by the Common Council on October 16, 2023, is hereby amended to delete the following positions. Department of Transportation, Director of Transportation, $55,000. Transport Assistant Director / Dispatcher, $40,560. Mechanic, Maintenance, $24.02 per hour, and adding the following positions. Department of Transportation, Supervisor, Dispatcher, $40,560. Part-time Administrative Assistant, $20 an hour. Section 3, in all other regards, ordinance number 29-2023 shall be unchanged. Section 4, this ordinance shall be in full force and effective upon its passage and approval by the mayor, and publication is required by law. End of ordinance.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second discussion. I'd like just to talk about from the Department of Transportation perspective. Our transport program is here to last forever. We're going to take care of the seniors. We're going to take care of the low income. Transport has to be around. And so we've made some great adjustments. We have some wonderful people that are committed to transport there, and we want to keep them. This is an opportunity to be efficient and to also drive more dollars into what we do, into the process of driving, into the process of dispatching, and make sure we keep those people here. And I will tell you this, anybody take a minute and sit in the dispatcher's office and see what happens, how often that phone rings. We've got some updates that we need to do. I think there's some programs that are available that'll make our process more efficient and easier for the customer. But we want our residents to know this will be the premium transportation site and availability for LaPorte residents moving forward, and we're going to get there. So, as you can see, most of this is transportation related. I'll be glad to answer any questions. And I know many of you may have received calls about transportation. That's turning around. I don't think you've received none. I really appreciate Councilman Galloway for sharing some of the concerns, and we'll be meeting with different groups to update them on facts of what's really happening, and look forward to that. Any questions? This is an ordinance, so it can pass at the June 3rd meeting. Thank you. Councilman Buchanan.
Your Honor, I'd like to introduce a resolution read for the first and only time in its entirety.
Second.
Motion and a second discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Councilman Buchanan.
A resolution of the LaPorte City Council granting a waiver of noncompliance pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1.1-12.1-11.3 with respect to an assessed valuation deduction tax abatement for the real property improvements of LaPorte 401 MP RK6 LLC. Whereas deduction for rehabilitated and redeveloped of real property in economic revitalization areas is authorized under Indiana Code 6-1.1-12.1, the Act, in the form of deductions of assessed value for qualified real property improvements, vacant building deductions, and the installation of qualified personal property that results from development, redevelopment, and rehabilitation. And whereas LaPorte 401 MP RK6 LLC, the company, submitted to the City of LaPorte Community Development and Planning Department a Form SB1 real property pertaining to 401 Newport Boulevard, the project site, which is part of an economic revitalization area, the ERA, for the purpose of real property improvements, assessed valuation deductions, or tax abatement to be applied to investments in existing structures at the project site. And whereas on 2/18/1985, the LaPorte City Council adopted and approved Resolution Number 275, the declaratory resolution that designated and established the project site in the city of LaPorte, Indiana, as an economic revitalization area pursuant to Section 2.5 of the Act for the purpose of providing for assessed valuation deductions as an incentive resource to encourage private enterprise to invest within the city of LaPorte, Indiana City, as a means to attract, retain, or expand economic development and employment opportunities. And whereas on 2/18/1985, the City Council held a duly scheduled and published public hearing on the declaratory resolution and property closed the public hearing upon receiving comments. And whereas on 3/4/1985, the City Council adopted and approved Resolution 276 for the confirmatory resolution and further approved the Form SB1 real property for an assessed valuation deduction of the company's real property improvements pursuant to Section 3 of the Act. And whereas the company represented and independently verified on the real property assessed card for PIN 46-06-355-201-014.000-043, located in the ARA, that real property improvements at the project sites as described in the Form SB1 were fully assessed for the January 1st, 2023 assessment date for taxes due and payable in 2024. And whereas the company did complete and file timely the January 1st, 2020, year 1 at 100%, and the January 1st, 2021, year 2 at 95% compliance forms within the City Council as the designated body and the Office of the LaPorte County Auditor. And whereas it has been independently verified that the company did receive the January 1st, 2020 Pay 2021 and the January 1st, 2021 Pay 2022 ERA assessed valuation deductions and did pay all annual tax liability due for Pay 2021 and Pay 2022 for the LaPorte County Office of the Treasurer in a timely manner. And whereas the company failed to timely file the January 1st, 2023, year 3 at 80% compliance forms, the Form CF1 and the Form 322RE with the City Council as the designated body and the Office of the LaPorte County Auditor. And whereas the company did file the January 1st, 2022, year 3 at 80% compliance forms with the City Council as the designating body, and the Office of the LaPorte County Auditor as file stamped by the auditor on 5/4/2023. See Exhibit A attached to this resolution. And whereas Section 11.3 of the Act authorizes the City Council as designating body by resolution to waive noncompliance with various requirements of the Act in order to claim a deduction. And whereas the company has requested that the City Council exercises authority to waive noncompliance by adopting a resolution pursuant to Section 11.3C, such that said resolution shall identify the more property, the assessed valuation deduction, and the taxpayer affected by the resolution, as well as furthermore identify the noncompliance for which certain waivers are to apply, and make a finding that the noncompliance has been corrected before the adoption of this resolution. And whereas the City Council conducted a public hearing on May 6, 2024 for the purpose of considering the adoption of this resolution. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council, by the LaPorte County Council, that the company's failure to file in a timely manner the January 1st, 2022, year 3 at 80% compliance forms with the City Council as the designating body and the Office of the LaPorte County Auditor are hereby waived pursuant to a Section 11.3A of the Act, subject to the terms and conditions set forth below. A dedication of qualified assessed valuation of 80% for year 3 of the 10-year abatement period as it relates to real property improvements as approved under Resolution R-12-2019 shall be applied to the real property improvements of gross assessment specifically identified for real property key number 46-06-35-201-014.003-043 2, the city council will not entertain or consider any future waivers of noncompliance related to the company or the project pursuant to the act as submitted by the company for untimely filings or noncompliance under sections 9.5 or 11.3 of the act. Be it further resolved that if any part, clause, or portion of this resolution shall be adjudged invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect the validity or constitutionality of this resolution as a whole or any part, clause, or portion of this resolution. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall have full force and effect from and after its passage by the city council and its signing by the president as required by law. End of resolution.
Great job, Councilman Buchanan. He drew the short stick tonight. Craig Phillips, break it down for us, please.
All right, so in a nutshell, what happened was that last year, when the tax abatement filings were filed by all the companies that were considered, there was a typo in some of the language that was submitted by the company, and they accidentally submitted the application for a different site instead of the one that was in LaPorte. If you look back at that paperwork, it referred to a Westville LLC, so it was a Westville site that mistakenly got submitted for the paperwork, and it was determined that they couldn't receive the resolution because it couldn't be applied to the parcel that was listed. So essentially, they're allowed a one-time opportunity to request a waiver of noncompliance so that they can receive the abatement deduction, and quite simply, that's what's being requested here. Now, I will say that there have been some other companies that have experienced various levels of difficulty in dealing with tax abatements at the county level recently, so it's possible that this could come before the council again with other companies. So just be prepared that you may see other requests of this nature. At no fault of the cities, and just the right steps taken to correct these issues. So aside from that, you know, they're a company that's in compliance. Otherwise, you approved their paperwork this year properly with the correct information. We made sure that it was correct this time around. So that's it kind of in a nutshell. If you have any questions about this, otherwise I'm happy to answer any questions. I think we do anticipate another one coming next month, if I'm not mistaken. So
I guess I have one question. So what can we tell the businesses to do differently so they don't,
well, in this case, the name of the entity.
not this one, but the others that you say will be coming for?
So
before
okay, so
us?
this was a case of a typo. The next
one?
one is a case, I'm sorry?
No, the ones in the future.
The
not
one in the
this
future is due to confusion about the dates related to the 39 North annexation. So they submitted their paperwork to us instead of the county. And sorry, that's gonna be taken care of at that level, with the county. And there's another one that's coming to us where, we did not receive their paperwork in time this year for their filing. So the way to take care of this is a simple resolution like this.
I just wasn't sure when you said having difficulty with the county.
There may be others that come forward to correct some issues with them. I think
Okay.
that's the best way to put that.
Is there things that we can do to let the county know so we don't run into this?
We've already been involved in helping correct some of these issues at the
Thank you.
county level, with another company, so. But yeah, we have one coming next month, for a company that received, abatement, I believe, in 2021, and just missed their first filing. And, they get a one-time opportunity to correct that, so I think that's coming to you next month.
Okay, so this is a resolution. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. And I guess, just one more time, I want to make sure I'm clear. The problems at the county, there's nothing we can do to fix.
This one's not because of the county.
Not this one, but the ones that you mentioned that are
There
coming.
may be issues, I shouldn't have said that, actually. I'm being painted into a corner here, so. I do want to mention one typo that needs to be corrected in this resolution that I noticed, and that's just that it refers to LaPorte County Council under the now therefore be it resolved. It should be City Council.
Yeah, we got that.
Okay. I'm not trying to paint you in the corner because I know you didn't do anything wrong.
We've been involved in helping other companies that have received abatements from us correct issues that they experienced at the county. It's possible that if similar things happen in the future, we would be involved in a resolution like this to help correct that if it happens. I think in the last case, the county took care of it, but it can be done by the city or the county.
I just want to make sure, us as a pro-business community are making sure it's as easy for our business community so they can focus on growing the business. Is that fair, Mr. Cook? If you want to,
Yeah, I think, so Mayor, to your question, and Craig did a good job of, we're doing what we can control, or we're controlling what we can control at the city. I think many of the confusion, or much of the confusion that has occurred, some of the individuals that were involved in the auditor's office previously are no longer there, and they had some support staff that I think has always been really good to work with. For a period of time, those individuals were there, so maybe they weren't getting, I think we would argue that the city prides itself on helping these companies through the process. They maybe weren't getting the support that they needed to accurately do all of this. And so we are actively working with the auditor's office to make sure that we get this right, both at the county level, because Craig is assisting our county economic development team in making sure that their county tax abatements are correctly applied, but also at the city level. And so we're going to bring some issues in front of you as we're doing right now. We're going to get those corrected. And I think we would all hope that moving forward, this was a blip on the radar, and that we will have made the corrective actions, and that we'll be working hand in hand with the county to make sure that these deductions are accurately applied each and every time, so that this doesn't happen again in the future.
But to be clear, this council, our staff, this council, and everybody involved on our end took the appropriate steps.
correct.
And filed the proper paperwork in a timely manner.
Yep.
Where it went from there is out of our hands to a certain extent, but we can be helpful, hopefully, in helping resolve some of those issues where it's possible to do so according to statute.
And I would ask you to continue to do that for those businesses that don't want to focus on this. They want to focus on providing jobs and
But we
growing
would
their
also be
business.
remiss, I mean, Clerk Treasurer Parthun has also spent a ton of time working with their office and getting this correct, so please acknowledge that
Thank you,
as well.
Clerk Treasurer Parthun, but I know she's
We've all been
involved
working
in,
together to correct these issues, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
perfect.
We identified the issues initially.
Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Konechny, other business.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to untable the Business Improvement District Council appointment.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilwoman Konechny is now it is now untabled.
Excellent. Well, I'd like to make a motion to approve Patty Pearson, owner of the Pink Sheep, to the bid board.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion? Any thoughts that you'd like to add?
She's a very engaged community member, has multiple successful businesses, and filled a void where there's been one for a long time as far as having things for children and toddlers to do and enjoy outside of our parks and free things. Her pink, the storefront where they could go and play, is very interactive, hands-on, good for all climates, so year-round type of activities. And then the boutique has a lot of great unique items as far as apparel for kids, and then a couple one-offs for adults as well. So great community partner, really steps up, not only to provide a great product and service for the community, but gives back as well.
And if you haven't taken children, grandchildren, or just yourself to go into the mini LaPorte, it's pretty cool.
I was just gonna say that I took my grandson to Little LaPorte and he had a blast. And they're redoing Pink Sheep right now, so she was kinda in the middle of everything, but both stores are absolutely wonderful. And yeah, Little LaPorte is the funnest place for kids. He had a great time.
So do I have a motion?
You have a, yes, Konechny and Ficus. Motion in a second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Just a couple of items as well. We've received plenty of calls from residents regarding high grass, areas not being taken care of. And Roger, I don't know if the church had finally mowed their grass over by the Civic on your way in, do you know? I forgot to check.
I didn't see it.
But that's been multiple complaints. We have everywhere, and I'll tell you this, the other difficult part is that respectfully, the state of Indiana, who we love and we love to partner with, has decided, I think statewide, that they're only gonna cut the medians 3 times a year. It's usually 3 times a year, so we do all our part. And then Roger and I were just talking about it, the medians are left high grass, not only a potential safety issue, but as well, it could be just from a look perspective of what we're trying to accomplish. So as I met today with code enforcement, with street department to say, what can we do? How can we help? Because we're getting all these calls from residents, not only for the medians, but the expectation that they've set, and all of you have set in LaPorte now, that we have to continue to clean it up. So we're gonna try to find ways. We have a lot of high grass out there and a lot of areas that need some work, and how can we help make that happen? Especially, like I said, the state's only gonna be cutting 3 times a year.
And if I might add to that,
Please.
you know, I'm certainly very appreciative of code enforcement, but if you have a neighbor that's elderly or, you know, down on their luck or doesn't have might not be in the best financial situation, maybe give a helping hand. And, you know, it's easy to call code enforcement, but if you got an extra 30 to 60 minutes to kind of help out and maybe rally the other neighbors as well to help out. So, yeah, I appreciate code enforcement. I think that's definitely one avenue, but for us just to be a good neighbor, that might be a viable alternative too.
Absolutely, we gotta help one another, and on Sunday, I caught Mr. Batchelor out at the courthouse, getting rid of that strip of walkway that the grass had grown. I know the county's gonna hopefully begin taking care of it, but he was out on Sunday, came over to clean it all up on that block. So we have a lot of work to do, we have high expectations, and as I told street department, as I told code enforcement, I appreciate your work, but tell us what needs to happen, because we're not gonna come off this where we've been, and we've got more work to do, so. Also, some great news, and really the individual that should receive the credit is Mike Riley from LEAP. We've talked for 3 years about, hey, we need a career center. It doesn't necessarily always work that we should be going to the A.K. Smith Center in Michigan City, different times, different things. We should be focused on the manufacturers here in LaPorte. And you combine Mike's tenacity over these past 3 years with Superintendent Peggy Hinckley, who moves quickly on items, and Ryan Seberg from the school board and the entire school board have now a plan on using or turning Boston Middle School into a career and technical education center. And Drew, you're involved from the school, our representative Bert Cook from LEAP. I just want to say this is a wonderful, wonderful item to prepare our kids for the future. So I didn't know if you guys wanted to say anything. Drew, Ad, you were probably there.
Yeah, it was discussed and seems like a no-brainer and a very good thing for the community to both include our kids and maybe bring in some kids that are from surrounding areas to help boost some of our school numbers too. So.
And Bert, from Mike Riley's perspective, you sat in. I mean, if you want to come to the mic, that'll be fine.
I feel like I've been up here enough tonight. No, I appreciate that. Mike's done a great job. Very excited. I agree with Drew. It's an exciting development, and I, for one, am kind of excited to see where this goes. Appreciate the partnership with the school corporation as well.
But if you can cut out 2-hour commute to A.K. Smith every day, I mean, that's a lot of time lost that could be spent learning.
And that's our students. You think about some South County students, you know, that exponentially goes up, so I agree.
Just out of curiosity, is this going to be geared towards just manufacturing? Or I know there's a lot of cosmopolitan, and like auto body and things like that.
I don't think we're there yet
Okay.
in determining exactly what's offered. I think part of this process is going to be to vet that and determine exactly where the needs lie and how we can best match that with the educational opportunities within a facility like this. But we are actively going through that process, and as the mayor mentioned, it's moving quickly, and we're each and every day, working towards that goal. So stay tuned, there will be quite a bit more to come.
Awesome.
And the last part I want to add about the housing, the other thing code enforcement is finding out are people that are walking away from their homes. And whether they're rentals, we're starting to gather a list of not taking care of their homes and the owner's walked away, or he's a landlord and just walked away in the high grass. So we're connecting that list to how do we get that into somebody's hands to live in, to do whatever. So we're trying to learn on the run right now. Other than that, do I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
I do have a motion and a second. Don't forget Memorial Day, 11 a.m., Fox Park, for the Memorial Day honor to our veterans. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Have a great evening, everybody.